The Stone of Destiny. Chapter 1. Rain lashed against the face of England's soldiers. They stood looking at a small walled town, and they waited. Their king, Edward, stood between them and the town's wall. Though he spoke to his army, he knew the people in the town could hear him. A strong leader. That's what people need, King Edward shouted. A king needs to be as hard as a stone. Scotland has no such king. Scotland's castle had crumbled before us. Scotland is us. At the flick of Edward's arm, a line of archers drew their long bows. The arrows aimed high into the sky above the town. The Scottish king is skulking behind those walls, cried Edward. He is ready to give up, but before he does, let us remind him of the power a real king has. The archers released their bowstring. A swarm of arrows cut through the driving rain, high over the town. From within the town, a thousand faces looked up at the flight of arrows passed overhead. Amongst them was an anxious king who nervously steadied his crown as he peered upwards. Everyone knew what the arrow meant. It was time for Scotland to get off its king. The town people watched as the gate opened. The hidden within the crowds of faces as the Scottish king stepped forward were Chip and Keeper. Chapter 2. Minutes earlier, Chip and Kipper had been with the other eating dinner by the fire in the library. Mola had made one of his special stews. Interesting, said Chip as he cautiously tried a forkful. Wasn't it? Bananas, smiled Moloch. Suddenly the time web alarm went off. Will put down his plate. Saved by the bell, he whispered. Tyler looked worried. This is serious, he murmured. 2 dark patches. So that means 2 different variants attacked. Right? Gasped Biff. Tyler nodded. Both on the same thread of light. One in Scotland, one in England, but 2 different points in history. Wilf glanced at the globe next to the matrix. An image of a stone block with a metal ring at each end glowed dimly within it. A block? What does it mean? Not sure yet, said Tyler, but we can hang about trying to work it out. 2 groups, Wilf and Biff, Chip and Keeper, go now! Chapter 3 King John of Scotland. Or perhaps I should just call you John. John Belliard, kneel before your true king. King Edward smirked. The King of England. Slowly, King John knelt down in the mud. Standing over him, King Edward began to laugh. Ha 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 ha! That pathetic, he sneered. Some of the English soldiers began to jeer and mocked. Then Edward did something that made the onlookers in town gasp in horror. Ever so gently, Edward ran his hand over an embroidered badge stitched onto King John's robes. Scotland's royal coat of arms, he murmured. Such a shame! His finger dug down into the fine material. In one movement, Edward ripped a bandage from King John's crown. The Scottish king fell backwards from the force, his crown landing heavily in the mud, somewhere at the back of the onlookers' curse. Keeper was on his link to Tyler. I thought the English were supposed to be the good guys, he whispered. Tyler's voice crackled by the link. Depend on who is writing the history, he said. Anyway, I reckon there is no such thing as good guy and bad guy. The end. So next time you can see the next video and you will know more about the stone of this destiny. 还有，记得，最后话题要上讲3遍，记得去订阅和打开小铃铛哦。